Hey, today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different kind of video. I'm going to be reviewing the Fjell, which I've been using for about a month, and I just want to give my thoughts on it after using it. I mean, not only this long, but I've tried some different switch and plate combos on it. And if you don't feel like watching the rest of this video, it's okay for the price. But anyway, I'm going to get on to some of the pros and cons about it and, what I've been up to with it. So starting with the pros, I like the sound. It sounds pretty nice. It's got that big internal brass weight, and I'm sure that has an influence over the resonance of stuff like the alphas especially, but I know that's always a good plus, and that means that it is also a pretty chunky boy. And then with this run of the Fjell, the two middle standoffs out of the 6, since this is a tray mount, are removable. So that's kind of nice, and I've been steady running it without those mounted, and I'll get to that in a few. But it adds a little bit more flex than running it with the two middle standoffs. So I'll take this apart and I'll show you where the standoffs, unscrew and stuff. But I just gotta take this out. Right now, I'm just typing on it with Milky Top Gator on yellows that I very lightly lubed with 205 grade 0, and if this screw could get out, that'd be great. But overall, I've been liking the sound of this board a lot. I've been using it without foam, so I want to kind of put that on the record. I did pick up, the pieces of foam when I ordered it, just because, to try it out, but a lot of stuff started sounding similar when I started stuffing this thing with foam, because foam just kind of sounds like foam. One of the things I like about it is that it's a universal 60% board, plate, whatever. So if I want to swap something out, it is super easy to do so. And that's made it real easy to experiment with a lot of different plate options. So inside the board here, you can see there, and my other finger's blocking it, but those are where the two removable standoffs go. I have them, I have the baggie right here actually. So I have the two standoffs in that bag with a few extra screws that came with the keyboard. So that's allowed it to be a little bit more flexy in the middle, but at the end of the day, it still is a tray mount. I did try it with those standoffs in, and it was definitely too stiff for me. So I will not be putting those back in this board. Let's see. Yeah, so it's been easy to switch everything out and experiment with different plates and switches. I'm using one of the Wilba hot swap boards, so that's been pretty nice. It's also from the Mekanisk site. I just ordered everything together. It was a kit. But I've tried these Milky Top yellows, some SP Star Sacramentos, which I got from Swag Keys. It's pretty nice. I tried the SP Star Nanas, which are more nylon house linears from SP Star. The Holy Pandas I did in the other video, of course, because memes, I felt obligated. I'm sure I tried a few others, and obviously messed around with brass plate, aluminum, and I've been liking the carbon fiber, so that's actually what I have in right now. But let me put this back together, and I'll keep going down my list. Oh yeah, so I mean, I mentioned this thing's heavy cell, but for what it is. But to my untrained eye, I thought that the anodization looked good too. I don't really see any, striping, banding, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to pick up anything on the camera probably, but at least from what I've seen on it, it looks pretty good. Nothing really looks inconsistent. Nothing is like, discolored or whatever. I don't know how easy it is or difficult with other colors. Maybe it's just easier with gray. I don't know. It looks good. But moving on to some of the negatives about it, I like the sound. That's another thing I don't know if I mentioned yet, but I'm doing this all in one shot because I suck at editing and I'm too stupid to figure it out, so I'm doing it live. But going on to the negatives, the very first thing I guess I'll mention now is Phillips head screws. These suck. I really wish it was like hex or something, because over time, for how much I've really been, swapping stuff in and out and having to take the PCB out every friggin' time, I feel like I'm gonna strip these. And that is just gonna suck. So better screws are on my list. The next thing is it's a tray mount. So that comes with all the negatives of being a tray mount. It will never not be a tray mount. So it's nice to have those two middle standoffs removable. It gives a little bit of, extra flex in the middle. But that's the other thing that I wanted to mention, is that extra flex really is just like in this weird zone on the keyboard. And I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Let me just like put these keycaps back on and talk about that. But it has to do just with how everything is kind of seated in, in the board itself. Because, you go top first and then you lay it flat. So this entire top piece is supported. So that's all pretty stable. There's really not any movement. I'm like pushing it into my desk mat, so it's not going anywhere. I mean, over here on the side is still pretty stiff. Still pretty stiff on the side. But once you get to the middle, like where those standoffs are removable, that's really where like you get that flex. So it's just like this zone over here. It's like an N shape almost. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the USB port is massive, and like in a bad way. Like, look at that abyss. I've tried to plug it in blind, and I just put the USB-C port right under where it's supposed to go, and then like I'm scraping on the outside of the connector or whatever. So every time I'm trying to put the USB-C in, maybe I just suck at this, but I have to physically lift it up, look at it, and plug it in, or else I'm probably gonna scratch something, and that sucks. And I guess one of the last points I want to touch on is that this is more expensive compared to some other options that you might have. Even at this price point, I mean, the Salvation just had the group buy, and I'm actually waiting on that, but that at least had like an innovative mounting design with all like those whatever, the leaf spring mount. I know they're calling it Salvation mount, but that looked really interesting, so I'm eager to try that, and it seems like it's going to be pretty unique. I do like the universal aspect of being able to toss in whatever 60% PCB and plate in here, so it gives a lot of options. I can just kind of throw in whatever I want whenever I want. If I need to like pick up a spare PCB, that's easy to get. But I don't, it's not that I like regret getting it. I mean, I'm happy with it, but I feel like there were definitely other options that I probably could have considered and still been just as happy with. Overall, I mean, it's still its own board. It sounds nice. I do like the sound profile of it, so it's got that going for it, which is nice. It's a hefty board. So I've been bringing it to work and typing on it there. I've been typing on it at home, playing games on it, whatever. But I think there are definitely other options out there. I mean, I mentioned Salvation, but even like the NK65, even whether it's the entry edition or the aluminum, I mean, the aluminum's still going to be less, I think. I don't feel like looking up prices, so, don't quote me on that. But yeah, overall, I do like the board, but I do think it's worth considering looking at other options, unless like this is exactly what you want, and maybe you've tried it before, or you're just willing to go for it. I think some extras should be available either like later this year or sometime in 2022 from this previous run. I think it was like April or something, and then it got here September for me. Some people are still waiting on it, or you can just wait till the next run, or wait for something else to come around. That's honestly probably your best bet if you want something that's going to be kind of maybe unique, innovative, and just different. So I mean, this is I think like round 6 of the Fjell or something, so I don't think this thing's really going anywhere. It's kind of perpetually been running, going through various runs. So yeah, I mean, those are some of my thoughts. If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this kind of video style too. I know it was a little bit of different approach, but I just kind of wanted to get all my thoughts out there on this board, and I'll follow up this with just a quick sound test, just enjoyment purposes. I'm gonna try to get it to be a little accurate. I'm gonna take a look at the recording. I'm gonna like position my microphone, which I'm talking into right now. I'll have all the specs in the description of the video and whatever. But I'll have it kind of like at head level, earish level, you know, whatever, pointed at the board, and I'll just do my best to, you know, set the gain and whatever appropriately. I just go in straight to my computer over XLR, and I don't change anything because I'm too dumb for that. So yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna get to the sound test, and thanks for watching. Subscribe.